A lot of times, the conservative Republicans talk about African American people in the United States of America. They say that they have no values since Jim Crow was ended and segregation was ended. They said the civil rights movement was a waste of time. The question that I like to ask is, why do you think it was a waste of time? The civil rights movement was to help equality come about, to be something that everyone could afford, not just the white society, but everyone on the land, those born here and those yet to come. But the Republicans want you to think that it was a waste of time because before then, blacks was minding their own business, living in their own homes, their two parents in the home. But they fail to tell you the reason for that. And the reason for that is this. For one thing, the black man had to unify with himself if he wanted to stay alive. His life was in danger. There was no laws on the land that was respected of his life. None. So he basically had to do what he had to do, stay to himself, live amongst his people. Not that he really wanted to, because many black people, Negroid or nigger or what do you want to call Negroes, basically really wanted to be amongst the society. That's another reason for the Civil Rights Act. To be equal in the eyes of God, to be able to stand next to your brother and your sister of a different race and nationality and become one. But the greater society never deemed that to be possible until they found a loophole. And the loophole was economics. As always, economics changed the theme, it changed the vision of the civil rights movement. So after that was a known fact that if you integrate black people into the society, the great society, you will save the society. Not only save the society, you will cause the society to grow 5 times, 6 times, or greater, proportionally. But it wasn't out of the love of the human being. The civil rights movement should have been about equality under the law. Not about buying clothes at Belk's or Woolworth or Cato's. Not about eating dinner at Red Lobster or Denny's. It shouldn't have been about playing NFL football, Major League Baseball, or NBA basketball. It should have been about equality under the law. Because back in those days, you could be minding your business and the white establishment could come along and bush up beside your head with a billy bat. You never hear Republicans talk about that. Now, the Democrats does. But I'm not a Democrat to the point that I'm going to go along with them in their mess because they got their own stuff to deal with. But I will say that the Republican Party has been its own worst enemy. The black man was a Republican after slavery all the way up until the Civil Rights Movement in the 60s. But the Republican Party wasn't doing anything for him. I mean, if you don't protect a man's livelihood, how are you expecting that man to be in your corner to love you and protect you, protect your land, your franchise, your family? And they expected the black man and woman to be obedient, to accept whatever came along, but take care of our family, our kids. And that's not the way it is. My thing is this. One is just as bad as the other. Black people in America have not found true happiness and peace and love in this country, whether it's been Republican or Democrat, whether it's been conservative or liberal. It's always been the same thing. Nowadays, you see kids, and they're kids to me because I got children older than most of these girls and boys that's being shot down and going to jail. They go out here and get in trouble. People are marching. A lot of these children don't know nothing about the law. They have no idea what the law stands for. But at the same time, they'll go out here and they'll break the law because they don't respect the law, because they don't know the law. But at the same time, again, verbatim, they were asking, your parents are asking, the community is asking for the laws, the very laws you don't know, don't respect, the very laws that violate your body and your mind to protect you. Have you ever heard anything so absurd in your life? But it's an everyday thing in America, every day. How the black man in America has been ostracized and used. He's a volleyball. People play volleyball with him. Back and forth across the net. Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. Back and forth, back and forth. The volleyball man. We should be called the volleyball men and women, because that's what we really are. Because nobody respects the black man. And the Republicans therefore don't respect the black man. You get Thomas Sowell, you get Larry Elder, you get Walter Williams, you get Jesse Peterson, and you get Armstrong Williams, and a lot of others that get there and they praise the Republican Party. There's nothing wrong with being a Republican, but you're overlooking the faults of the Republican Party, and there are some. The Republican Party did not do anything for the black man. Yeah, you may say, well, there was men and there was women. They took care of their family, had family values, but this man didn't have a family protective clause. He couldn't go out here and do what he wanted to do because you would be strapped to a tree and burned at stake. Or you'd be strewn up by a noose and hung. Or whatever else they deemed favorable to do to your behind back in those days. Now this we're talking about, this is post-slavery. There are just as many people, there's probably more blacks that were tortured, horrendously tortured after slavery than they were during slavery. Because the slave master needed his product. He couldn't afford to go down the line and destroy his product, his stock. He needed his stock. But when the black man and the black woman began to be entrepreneurs, like they were in Rosewood, like they were in Tulsa, and in Wilmington, North Carolina, and a lot of other places, you see what happened. They were not protected. I mean, even a little boy running down the street with overalls or no shoes, he was protected, but it wasn't a danger. Black people may have been better off as far as being close to one another, which I say it was forced. They were forced to be close. Because we really are not that close of a people. We don't want to be close to each other. We were forced to live with each other. We were forced to deal with one another. We were forced. But you see what happened after we got the laws changed or altered or whatever, and we became a part of the society? We left ourselves. We broke away from one another. And we became a part of the American fabric. And we've been there ever since. But we are taught rugged individualism. We was not taught to be a integrated people. We were taught to be a people that it was integrated in society, but not an integrated people. Because when you're integrated as a people like everybody else, you get things done. You got to lay a stand on. But we wasn't taught that. We was taught to be a people that is to integrate individualistically, but not collectively. So in closing, what I want to say is this. Next time you hear a Republican talk about how black people were better off 50, 60 years ago, ask him this question. What happened? Why were we better off? But better yet, let me tell you why I think we were better off. We were better off because we were forced to be together as one, as a family unit, which is not so bad. But we were also not taken care of. We wasn't protected by the law of the land. The law of the land could just have open season on us. Open season to hunt and kill us. Just like you do in deer season, squirrel season, rabbit season, or quail season, fishing season, open prey. The devil will get at us and break us down. So where is the benefit? Where's the benefit in integration? The benefit in integration is at least you have some kind of crazy law. Don't mean much, because you still can get gunned down the streets. But at least you have the ability to read and understand the laws. And you have the ability to learn from other cultures. You have the ability to be not infringed upon because you're isolated, but because you're a part of a team. Whether you are first or second, you have a collective now. You see other people in your shape. Where is the detriment of the Republican Party in integration? No protection of law, no consensus as human beings, no love, no understanding, no inclusion. Basically, the Republican Party was doing what the Democrats doing right now. We want your vote, but we don't care nothing else about anything else. Just give us your vote, and we're fine. That's the bottom line. And that's something a lot of these so-called subversive conservatives need to understand. They are no different than the Democrats. All they want is your vote. That's it. Peace.